So John, we got this Mercedes, what is this, Unity RV?
Yes, sir.
And it's got the little Mercedes engine in it?
Yeah, it's I believe it's called a D16.
D16
Yes,
Mercedes. Sir. And so customer called us needing a tow because the vehicle went into D-rate mode, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so walk me through. Well, so you came in contact with the vehicle after it got to the shop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tow guy drops it off. What was your first step? How did you know what to look for? What is it that you're talking about?
The first thing I did is I hooked up the scan tool to it, and we were throwing NOx efficiency codes. Mm-hmm. And then
what's NOx? What does that mean?
It's a NOx sensor. It's what kind of determines like your exhaust. There's an inlet and an outlet knock on your DPF system.
Okay.
And they kind of just tell you, they're just reading your DPF.
DPF is what?
Yeah, your diesel particle filter.
Diesel particle filter?
Yes,
okay.
Sir. Yeah, they're
so this
reading.
has to do with the exhaust side?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It has to do with that. We had NOx efficiency codes and we had dosing metering codes. Dosing metering, it's your injector.
Okay.
Your DEF injector, which they call it something different on these. They call it AdBlue.
AdBlue?
Yeah.
But it's still DEF
on anything Canadian.
Okay.
And stuff that isn't in the U.S., it's called AdBlue.
So because it has Quebec, Canada tags on it, then we already knew it was from Canada, right?
Yeah,
so it's AdBlue.
Anything like that, it'd be AdBlue.
So the U.S. equivalent's DEF fluid then. So you added blue, and then what happened?
No, I didn't add blue. It had a metering issue.
Okay.
So if it has a metering issue, more than likely it's your dozer.
Okay.
So I took the dozer off, and the dozer was plugged.
And you knew it was more, and you said more than often it's a dozer, so you know this from experience
dozer,
because you work on these all the time?
Yes, sir. The dozer will cause your NOx sensors to read erratically.
Okay.
If it's over-injecting DEF or under-injecting DEF, either or, will cause your efficiency, your NOx efficiency. We didn't regen it, we just started it up, and it was still reading erratically. So we threw a set of NOx sensors.
Which is what this is?
Yes, sir. And
so this looks like an oxygen sensor.
Yeah, they're the exact same thing.
Just exact same thing. This is
kinda. It's big truck NOx O2 sensors is what they are.
Yeah. So this is for
anything on a diesel engine that has any sort of DEF system will have NOx sensors.
So this is a diesel equivalent of an oxygen sensor.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. And then what does this thing do? This is the brains?
That's your CAN bus for your NOx sensor, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when you replace one of these, the actual electronics in it is right here.
Okay.
So this is your sensor. This is essentially just a wire.
Okay, got it. So you got one of these in front of the DPF filter and one behind the DPF filter?
Correct, yes, sir.
And they're reading how much smoke you got, how hot it is.
It's reading your plug, all sorts of stuff.
All kinds of things.
Everything but temperature, pretty much.
And so basically all that we need to know is it's either working or not working.
Yes, sir.
Right?
And if they get over-deffed, more than likely, if you're over-deffing like this one was, your upstream will be what isn't reading correctly, and that's what I had.
Okay. And so then this morning, I heard you say that you was doing a forced regen. What is a forced regen?
It's just basically the computer's gonna idle it up and create as much heat in the exhaust system as it can to burn it out.
So you hooked up a special computer to it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you clicked on a button that said forced regen, or how does that work?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. You go to your special functions, depending on what software you're using.
And then was that successful?
Yes, it was. It was when we started the regen, it was at, they do the percentages kind of weird, so 125 is your max percentage on your DPF filled up. It was at 125.
Nice.
And we completed the regen. It took about 30 minutes, which is really fast.
Yeah.
And it dropped it all the way down. It's about 18%, which is about normal. You're never gonna.
So you went from 125% to 18%?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's a big change.
Yeah. Yeah, you're never gonna get it 100% because it's always gonna read some deficiency just because of the baffling and the DPF and stuff.
Okay.
But we also did temp sensors. Anytime you do NOx sensors, it's a good idea to do temp sensors.
Because they got too hot and overheated? Is that what happened?
Well, it's just that
or they get too much carbon on them.
A lot of times, especially with stuff this isn't old, but older, they'll update the NOx sensors. And then when you put new NOx sensors on, and they kind of work in tandem. If you don't put in updated temp sensors, then you're never going to get them to function correctly.
Okay.
So.
Okay, and so then you've still got a code on the dash though, right?
Yes, sir. I
You
still
wanna
got a
show us
code.
what's going on with that?
It's for a my DEF heater element line. Right here, we've got DEF was running down the wires into the connector and corroding it. My pins are broken, so we're gonna cut this off of both sides, which this other side's brand new. It came with the DEF line for the dozer valve, and we'll put a new connector on it, and it should be good to go.
Okay, so will you do another force regen after you do that?
I will not.
Okay, so you're just gonna clear the code, and then if the code is not active anymore, then you know the repair's successful?
Yes, sir.
You also gonna know the repair's successful already because you already know you got a broken connector there because
Yes,
the DEF is like super corrosive.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the most corrosive things we work with is probably DEF.
Okay, what's it made of? Urea, something
Urea,
like that?
that's what it is. Yeah, it's just straight urea.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What happens when it gets poured into diesel? Because we deal with that occasionally too.
It destroys the entire diesel system. It destroys your injectors, your lines. You can't clean it out because it corrodes itself in there, and then you have to replace the entire fuel system, injection pump, all the lines, everything, even probably the tank.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. I think we've had success cleaning a few of the plastic tanks.
Maybe, yeah.
Where we was able to get hot
Yeah, if
water.
it was steel.
Where we was able to get hot
Yeah.
water inside there and then clean it out, right?
Yeah.
But it just, what happens whenever the DEF hits the concrete floor?
It turns straight white.
It's like
corrodes.
salt. It's like salt crystals, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and it just
Yeah,
does the
it's
same
this
thing.
right here.
Oh, that's DEF. That's
Yep.
spilled DEF.
Yeah.
Will that make that chrome rust?
It will.
Okay. All right. So we need to get that cleaned off then, huh?
Yeah.
So, welcome to 2025 emission standards, huh?
Yeah.
Where we use corrosive stuff. Not only did we drink Dr. Pepper that's corrosive for us, we're forcing our cars to drink DEF, which is corrosive for them. So, thanks, John. Appreciate
Yes, sir.
your time. See y'all in the next video.